Global 99.5 FM reminds our listeners that the views and opinions expressed on this show are those of the host and guests and not necessarily the opinions of the owners of Global Communications Network and the operators of this radio station.
Today can be the turning point in your life by making a simple decision.
Fundamental questions of navigation. Where am I? Where am I going? And how do I get there from here?
I invite the leaders of our planet to ask themselves these three questions before they make any crucial decisions.
But if you don't make decisions, you're going to stay right where you are.
We are all map makers.
We are in a time of transition.
If we're going to change, we have to change the direction that we're going.
Our planet needs leaders who know where they want to go.
When we change the direction we're going, then we want to make sure we're going in the right direction.
Leaders who can see the big picture.
Because if we're not, we're going to either go backwards or we're going to stay where we are.
Recognizing the psychological and the spiritual shifts and changes that need to be made, often from the inside to the outside.
To be able to shape your future, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm.
Complex journeys require navigation. The path to the truth is one such journey. This is your GPS. Hairstyling services provided by J.D. Edwards Salon and Spa, Palmdale Shopping Plaza, Madera Street. Accessories provided by Chevette Williamson Jewelry. Standout jewelry for standout women. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. I'm your host, Michelle Malcolm, and as always, it's a pleasure to be in your company today. Thank you so much for tuning in on this Wellness Wednesday. As you regulars would know, every Wednesday we focus on a topic that deals with your health. And today will be likewise, but I want to come at this from a different perspective today. And I want to begin by saying I would like to dedicate this show to a relative that was buried this past weekend. And I was pretty much inspired by her story to do this show. And you'll understand what I mean as we go along. I'm not going to call her name out of respect for the family. But I will tell you a little bit about her story, which will explain why I've decided to do this show. I'm calling this show today Ignorance, Arrogance, and Greed. And yes, this is a Wellness Wednesday show. But we're not going to be specifically looking at a particular condition on this show today. But we will be taking a serious look at the system of medicine that I dare say is costing many people their lives. Without going into too many details, my relative was facing a medical condition. And I had got her started on a nutritional program. And you know, I always say to my clients that I'm not a doctor. I'm not trying to be a doctor. I'm not pretending to be a doctor. So feel free to speak to your doctor about the program that we're doing. Matter of fact, it's recommended because if we are successful in helping you to recover your health holistically, then your doctor is going to have to make some adjustments to the treatment plan, the medication levels, etc., that they have you on as your body starts to function better. And so my relative went to the doctor, and the doctor told her, I later discovered, that she had to choose between nutrition and his pharmaceutical program. He told her that she had to choose between nutrition and his pharmaceutical approach. He didn't say you could do them side by side. He said to her, make up your mind which one you're going to go with, either me or that. I don't have doctor in front of my name. So my relative decided to go with what the doctor recommended. And we buried her this past Saturday. I'm calling the show once again, Ignorance, Arrogance, and Greed. And in this show, we are going to look at the modern day medical system, which has successfully positioned itself as the only authority as it relates to anything regarding your health. They've done a really good job at that. When truth be told, they don't know everything as it relates to your health. Matter of fact, when it comes to the impact of nutrition and how it can help your body to restore itself, they know pretty much next to nothing. I often say to my clients, they only know what they know. And what they know is based on what they were taught. And what they were taught did not include nutrition. So when they say to you, nutrition can't help you, with all due respect, they are coming to you from a place of ignorance. They just don't know any better. I'm not suggesting that they are evil. I'm just suggesting that they don't know. But opposed to saying, I don't know, all too often the approach is one of arrogance. Because I, after all, have doctor in front of my name, and therefore I am an authority. Sheer arrogance. As if they were God and no other approach could assist you apart from what they are pushing, which in the many cases, is poison. Poison to your body. But they are the authority. And this arrogance is not rooted in caring for your welfare. It's all about ego. The final part of this triad we're going to be talking today about is greed. Because I dare say that this is a system of greed where the first priority is money over healing. And in this show today, we're going to go deep. We're going to look at the history behind this medical school system that we are all being held hostage by, so that you can understand what is behind this. And I want to state at the very outset that this show is not in any way aiming at disparaging the work that medical doctors do. I say it often, and I will say it all the time, that medical doctors have a very important role to play when it comes to treatment of trauma When it comes to surgery, when necessary, they've made significant advances in surgery and save lives every day. When it comes to a handful of infectious diseases, you can't beat a medical doctor. So they definitely have a very important role to play in this overall picture of health. But I dare say that when it comes to non-communicable chronic disease, they're not as effective. And if you don't believe me, just look at the evidence all around us. Their methodologies don't work because they focus strictly on managing illness as opposed to healing the body. Now, to understand this, you have to understand the method by which they were trained. They were trained in what is called allopathic reductionist medicine. And Jason, I need you to prepare to play the first clip for me, please. Allopathic reductionist medicine is what your medical doctor has been trained in. So to understand what it is that they do, you need to understand the philosophy between allopathic reductionist medicine. Let's go to clip number 1, please.
Interestingly enough, your medical doctor does not practice medicine. Nobody does. Medicine is a vast territory with many different distinctions, many different disciplines. Naturopathic medicine, homeopathic medicine, chiropractic medicine, osteopathic medicine, traditional Chinese medicine, acupuncture, Ayurveda, etc., etc., etc. Interestingly enough, as it turns out, your medical doctor is trained in allopathic medicine. Allopathic medicine is a very interesting system of medicine to understand. And it's important that you understand it. Because when you're sick, you're scared. And you got to do something. You have to do something. And so it's better if you knew beforehand what the MDs were good at, what the MDs were bad at. And the same for other types of medicine. Allopathic medicine argues that the body is a bag of biochemicals waiting to break, and that when something does break, it's the doctor's job to manage your symptom. Each part of the body that's broken, each part of the body that's affected gets its own medicine, right? So you get one medicine for the heartburn, one medicine for the blood pressure, one medicine for the anxiety, one medicine to help you pee, one medicine to stop you from peeing, one medicine to make you go to sleep, one medicine to make you wake up, and one medicine for the side effect of all those medicines. This is the allopathic reductionistic way. Reductionistic medicine argues that the human body does not have the ability to fix itself, that it is the doctor's job simply to manage your symptoms to the best of their ability. Now think about it. Of all of the prescription medications that exist in the marketplace today, in the 21st century, anywhere in the world, the only medications which cure any physical condition are antibiotics. Everything else is managed, and this is an important distinction for you to understand.
Now, I know many of you out there listening to this show can attest to that you are on 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 different medications. Many people out there are dealing with that. That's not unusual. Like Dr. Peter Glidden said in that clip, you get one medication for this, and then that leads to a side effect, and you get another medication for that, and then that leads to something else, medication for that, and before you know it, excuse me, you're on 6, 7, 8 different medications. I come across a lot of people whose situation is that. Excuse me, I want to get a drink of water. Excuse me. So we know that that's not far-stretched. Something tickling my throat. We know that I'm sure you all know of people who are on at least 3 different medications. At least 3. I actually met someone in my work as a holistic coach who was on 12. And the thing is, you would think that while you're taking these medications, that you would be getting better. But the truth be told, you're not getting better. You're just managing your illness. What do I mean? It's like if I go to the doctor with a headache, there's something that's causing that headache. But the doctor will likely prescribe a painkiller. You have to manage the symptoms. So we give you something to numb the pain. So I walk out of there and I take the 2 pills and the pain goes away and I feel better. Only challenge is the painkiller didn't address the cause of the headache. It just masked the symptom. It just managed the symptom. So meanwhile, if the cause of that headache is not addressed, then that deterioration in the body continues while I'm popping this pill to get rid of the headache. And before you know it, if that continues where we really don't pay attention to the cause of the headache, then that develops into something else. Because you're looking at varying degrees of degeneration. And so I go with another symptom. And what do? They give me another medication. This is the allopathic reductionist way. And this is what the medical doctor is trained in. Now, again, the medical doctor is brilliant at treating trauma. You get a bad cut on your arm, man, they can patch that thing up. You get yourself in a bad accident or something, a shot or whatever, your doctor knows how to deal with that very well. They're very good at addressing trauma. They're excellent at conducting life-saving surgeries where necessary. But they've missed the mark terribly when it comes to the treatment of chronic disease. And a big part of the reason for that is because they were not trained in nutrition. Some time ago, when I was on a show in another place, I had Dr. Dwayne Sands on as a guest. And I challenged him with that statement. And he said to me, that's not true. Doctors are trained in nutrition. And so he decided to Google it, sitting there right in front of me, to see how much training a doctor receives in nutrition. So what's the average time a doctor goes to school before they become a medical doctor? What, 12 years? 8 years? Years, quite a number of years, right? So he Googled it. And he says, see, it says here that doctors receive 24 hours of training in nutrition. I said, 24 hours total? Yes, 24 hours. So it's not fair to say that doctors aren't trained in nutrition. Well, you call 24 hours over a period of, what, 8 years, 10 years? I don't know how long it takes to become a doctor. You call that training? With all due respect, I call that skimming over, if that. So many of them are literally ignorant when it comes to the effects of high-grade nutrition on the body. But yet they come from a place of arrogance, where they would rather see you die than admit that they don't know everything. This is a serious problem. And far too many people are literally losing their lives because of this lethal combination of ignorance and arrogance. I blamed it because I'm upset. I'm really upset. So we're going to take a quick break. On the other side of the break, we are going to talk about how this came to be. How did we get to this place where we are being held captive by a monopoly that is not serving us. You're going to be surprised at how this all began. We're going to talk about that on the other side of the break. Stay with us. This is GPS on a Wellness Wednesday.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Youngevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 hyperimmune egg powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for a rims, tints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires, cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blessed love.
To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Even in the United States, 94% of people are deficient in at least one nutrient. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Youngevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. It's an advanced plant-driven multivitamin mineral complex that contains certified organic whole foods, trace minerals, and antioxidants. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. With an unusually high ORAC score of 8,000, you get even more antioxidants to help combat free radicals that can cause damage to your cells. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients so you can fully absorb them. Otherwise, they'll just pass through your system without doing any good. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin mineral supplement it needs for optimal support of your overall health. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by Tiki Bikini Hut at Junkanoo Beach. Great food, cool tropical drinks, and family fun in the sun. Welcome back to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Let me just adjust my camera there. Michelle Malcolm here. On this Wellness Wednesday, we're talking about ignorance, arrogance, and greed. This whole medical monopoly that is literally taking people's lives. And we're going in deep today. The telephone numbers to call 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272, and our WhatsApp line to send us a message, 801-0271, 801-0271. I see some of you on Facebook sending your deepest condolences. I appreciate that. Speaking of Facebook, we have a couple of comments there. Let's see. Miko says licensed doctors cannot be trusted when it comes to you. They follow what they are taught, and incentives by bonuses from some pharmaceutical companies and government regulators such as MOH, CDC, and WHO. Miko further says doctors keep you dependent on pharmaceuticals, which cause other issues, requiring more chemicals to offset the imbalance until your body or organs give out. And Rain is saying 12 years, I guess in reference to how long it takes to become a medical doctor. All right, so where did this all begin? And why did I throw greed in the mix in the title of this show? Ignorance, arrogance, and greed. Well, it wasn't always this way where you had this medical monopoly going on. There was a time when other forms of medication, other forms of medicine, other practices of medicine, such as naturopathic or Ayurveda, or you saw in that clip where Dr. Peter Glidden broke down the various types of medicine, chiropractic medicine, all of these different forms of medicine. There was a time when everybody had a seat at the table. And then this certain fellow by the name of Rockefeller. That name sounds familiar? Most people associate Rockefeller with uber wealth. Well, did you know that Rockefeller also had a hand in medical practice as it relates to the training of doctors? Very much instrumental in where we find ourselves today with this medical monopoly that we are in. Here now is some background information, I can take it from here, Jason, on Rockefeller's takeover of the medical school system. Listen very carefully, and then you'll get a better understanding of how we got to be where we are today.
At the dawn of the 20th century, John Rockefeller's ruthless maneuvering, including bribery, price fixing, corporate espionage, and creating shell companies to conduct illegal activities, had won his Standard Oil Company control of 90% of U.S. oil production and made him the richest man in world history, with a net worth of over $500 billion of today's dollars. In 1911, the Supreme Court ruled that Standard Oil constituted an unreasonable monopoly and splintered the behemoth into 34 companies that became Exxon, Mobil, Chevron, Amoco, Marathon, and others. Ironically, the breakup increased rather than diminished Rockefeller's personal wealth. Rockefeller donated an additional $100 million from that windfall to his philanthropic front group, the General Education Board, to cement the streamlining and homogenization of medical schools and hospitals. A pill for an ill became his foundation's slogan. In 1913, he incorporated the Rockefeller Foundation. A congressional investigation described the foundation as a self-serving artifice, posing a menace to the future political and economic welfare of the nation. Using his foundation's wealth and influence, and working with his friend Andrew Carnegie, Rockefeller dispatched educator Abraham Flexner on a cross-country tour to catalog the status of America's 155 medical colleges and hospitals. The Rockefeller Foundation's Flexner Report recommended centralizing America's medical schooling and reorienting these institutions according to germ theory, which held that germs alone cause disease, and advocated for the pharmaceutical paradigm, which emphasized targeting particular germs with specific drugs rather than fortifying the immune system through healthy eating, clean water and good nutrition. With that narrative in hand, Rockefeller financed the campaign to consolidate mainstream medicine, adopt the philosophies of the growing pharmaceutical industry, and shutter its competition. Rockefeller's crusade caused the closure of more than half of American medical schools, fostered public and press scorn for homeopathy, osteopathy, chiropractic, nutritional, holistic, functional, integrative, and natural medicines, and led to the incarceration of many practicing physicians. To reassure public, politicians, and press of its benign purposes, the Rockefeller Foundation declared its ambition to eliminate hookworm, malaria, and yellow fever. The Rockefeller Sanitary Commission for the Eradication of Hookworm Disease sent teams of doctors, inspectors, and lab technicians to administer deworming medication across 11 southern states. These ambassadors systematically exaggerated the medication's efficacy, glossed over its regular fatalities, and through the graces of Rockefeller's mercenary army of journalists for hire, ignited enough favorable interest for the foundation to justify the proposed expansion into the colonized world. The Rockefeller Foundation's carefully heralded public health attainments eclipsed popular revulsion for the many abuses Americans associated with the Standard Oil Petroleum empire. Its patronage of the League of Nations Health Organization gave the Rockefeller Foundation global reach and an impressive cortege of high-level contacts among the international elites. The Rockefeller Foundation provided almost half the budget for the organization following its founding in 1922 and populated the ranks with its veterans and favorites. The Rockefeller Foundation imbued the League with its philosophy, structure, values, precepts, and ideologies, all of which its successor body, the World Health Organization, inherited at its inauguration in 1948. By the time John D. Rockefeller disbanded the Rockefeller Foundation's International Health Division in 1951, it had spent the equivalent of billions of dollars on tropical disease campaigns in almost 100 countries and colonies. But these projects were window dressings for the Foundation's more venal preoccupations, according to a 2017 report, U.S. Philanthrocapitalism and the Global Health Agenda. The E-Day fix was opening developing world markets for U.S. oil, mining, pharmaceutical, telecom, and banking multinationals, in which the Foundation and the Rockefeller family were also invested.
So now you're starting to see the bigger picture here. This was all about greed. Now, I remember Dr. Sands saying, well, prior to the Flexner report, there were a lot of quacks out there and, people just selling people snake oil and what the Flexner report did was it regularized the industry to get rid of all of these quacks. Okay, I'll accept that. But the only challenge is that it also effectively shut out many of the forms of medicine that were helping people and continue to help people today. And as you would have heard in that soundbite, it actually served to vilify these other forms of medicine. So it didn't just say we're establishing a structure to ensure that, quacks don't continue to harm people, but it vilified the legitimate forms of medicine other than what was being taught in the Rockefeller medical schools. And this was not just happenstance. This was all a systematic plan, as you would have heard described in that last clip. So when somebody decides to be a doctor, they have to go to medical school, yes? They take years upon years upon years studying the lessons that are taught by that medical school. Am I suggesting that every doctor is a part of some sinister cartel that is designed. No, most people who go into the field of being a doctor do so because they want to help. They want to help save lives. They care about people. So I'm not blaming the medical doctor. It is the system that is sick. And unfortunately, they were trained in that system. So many of them would listen to a show like this and say, oh, she's off her rocker, and you need to not listen to her. She doesn't know what she's talking about. And it's not that they're evil people. They're some very, very good people. But they only know what they know. And what they know was based on their training. And their training came from a system that was established and is being upheld by greed. I call it as I see it today. And listen, I have relatives who are doctors. I have friends who are doctors. And this is in no way to disrespect the work that they do. But I'm calling it as I see it today. Because unfortunately, people are dying every day as a result of this ignorance, arrogance, and greed. You don't believe me? Listen to this.
Dr. Wallach has been passionately involved in the political battle for fairness in the medical information that we receive. As a matter of fact, he's credited with successfully suing the FDA 7 times. Because of those efforts, the public is now aware of the relationship between folic acid and birth defects, on selenium and its effects on preventing and reversing cancer, and how omega-3 fatty acids can help improve heart health, to name a few. From his best-selling book, Dead Doctors Don't Lie, to the hundreds of lectures that Dr. Wallach does each year, he quotes statistics and medical published reports that are literally mind-boggling.
The medical system has failed the American public very badly. And when you look at the statistics, it's very, very scary. For instance, this is from the Journal of the American Medical Association. The Center for Disease Control, which is a federal agency that tracks these kind of things. Each year in America, medical doctors kill, injure, and infect 15 million patients in hospitals and clinics. Not one of them gets their license suspended for 3 seconds. Nobody gets an OSHA ticket. Nobody loses their job. And that being a pathologist and seeing what happened to patients on my autopsy table made me very critical of that system. You break that down a little bit. When you just look at infections in hospitals alone, not clinics, but just hospital infections, every year, again, the Center for Disease Control, this came out in 1998, and the Center for Disease Control said each year in America, medical doctors infect 2 million patients in hospitals. They infect 2 million patients, of which 90,000 die each year. That's a yearly figure from just the infections they spread. So nobody raises an eyebrow except me. That's why I'm very passionate about it.
Well, I'm a naturopathic doctor. I've been doing this for 26 years clinically. If we look around in the 21st century, everybody is sick all of the time. Autism has risen from 1 out of 10,000 births to 1 out of 80. Alzheimer's has risen from obscurity to become the 6th leading cause of death. Heart disease, cancer, unchanged. Arthritis, high blood pressure, obesity, out of control. The leading cause of bankruptcy in the United States, MD-directed medicine. Your medical doctor may be the nicest person that God ever created, but they only know what they've been trained in. And what they've been trained in is one piece of the pie of medical science. The type of medicine that your MD is trained in is referred to as allopathic medicine. I'm trained in naturopathic medicine. There's chiropractic medicine, osteopathic medicine, homeopathic medicine, and they're all good for certain things. Allopathic medicine, what the MDs are trained in, is perfect for surgery when it's necessary, trauma care, and a handful of infectious diseases. That's the wheelhouse of the MD. I have 26 years of clinical experience. I've been around the block with naturopathic medicine, and I got good results practicing the therapeutics that I was taught in medical school. But since I've been following Dr. Wallach's lead, I don't even know what planet I'm on anymore. because the things that I've seen people recover from with Dr. Wallach's methods eclipse by a factor of 1,000 anything that I'd seen before.
Heard me talk about Dr. Wallach before. Dr. Joel Wallach, who has written a book, Dead Doctors Don't Lie, as well as Epigenetics and many other Let's Play Doctor and many other books. His works are, one of his books is found in the Smithsonian in the United States, and he is a world-renowned naturopathic doctor, also former pathologist, former agricultural expert, very, very knowledgeable on nutrition. And the institute through which I received my certification as a health coach follows the protocols that have been outlaid by Dr. Joel Wallach. And you've heard me say many times our philosophy that the body is this incredibly intelligent machine that knows how to heal itself. It just needs the building blocks, the nutritional support to do what it needs to do. It needs to not be bombarded with things that damage or cause ongoing damage to the body, and it needs to be in an environment that is clear of toxins. And once you put those three things together, you give the body what it needs, you don't give it what it does not need, and you ensure that you're not being exposed to any major toxins or long-term stress, your body has this amazing ability to heal itself. Your medical doctor does not believe that. So the philosophy is completely different, because they believe that once something goes wrong with the body, your only option is to treat that with medication. Because as far as they're concerned, your body doesn't know how to fix itself, which is utter madness. When you think about it, if you don't have some condition like diabetes or something that would slow the healing process, you get a little cut on your finger, and within days, the thing starts to close itself up. Because the body already knows what to do. You didn't have to sit there and concentrate on the finger and say, okay, heal, heal, heal. The body knows what to do. It knows what to do. But we have to give it the support that it needs and get out of the way. And this is where the philosophies differ. Now, if you know anybody who is suffering from a chronic condition, please like and share the show. Please let them know that we're on the air. They need to hear this. I am so tired of people losing their lives because they put all their trust in this monopoly that doesn't have a clue as it relates to how to heal non-communicable diseases. As far as they're concerned, you have to be on medication in some cases for the rest of your life. We got to get the word out. I'm tired of seeing people suffer unnecessarily because some doctor told them that that's their only option. I say it all the time. Believe the diagnosis, but don't believe the prognosis, because your body knows what to do to heal itself. But you see, when you throw into the mix of this conversation the whole question about big pharma and the money-making system that it has become, because it's nothing more than a cartel at this point, then you understand why there is little to no incentive for them to advise you otherwise. Now, in all fairness, I must say that I am very encouraged by the many medical doctors who are now embracing other forms of medicine like nutritional therapy and incorporating them into their practice, because they're coming to realize that what they were taught was not the end all, and that there is something to this nutrition thing. So there are some doctors out there who are now incorporating it into what they do. But you still have some out there who are advising people to stop taking nutrition. And only rely on their pharmaceuticals. Unbelievable. The numbers to call: 3260271, 3260271, 3260271, 3260272. 3260272, 3260272, or our WhatsApp line is 8010271, 8010271. That's the WhatsApp number to send us a message if you so desire. Let me read a couple of comments and then we will go to a break. Miko says holistic care means whole body care inside and out, keeping your body balanced and optimal. Doctors are trained in specific parts, working and diseases. You can have 2 or 3 different doctors that will not collaborate beyond notes on your care. They like bush mechanics. There will always be something wrong and half fix. Okay, Claudette says, it's such a pity that a lot of persons depend so much on pharmaceutical drugs for a quick fix that will fail them down the line one of these days. Such a shame. And, you know, Claudette is right to a degree that people want a quick fix. They don't want to take the time to do what they need to do to heal their bodies. But that is the best way to go. That's the best way to go, people. Doing what it needs to be done, doing what needs to be done to get the body to heal itself is the absolute best way to go, as opposed to popping some synthetic pill that is only masking your symptoms. Because what people don't understand, like I come across people all the time, for instance, who need things like a knee replacement or hip replacement because all of the cartilage is gone. And I say to them, you don't need surgery, you just need nutrition so that your body can rebuild that which has degenerated. But a lot of them are like, oh, I don't have time for that. I just gonna get the surgery. Okay, go get the surgery. But the problem is the surgery does not fix the problem of degeneration. So you're going to continue to degenerate in your body, even though you would have done a quick fix of that particular area of the body. So you go and you get knee replacement, but the degeneration continues throughout your body. And before you know it, something else breaks down. And then something else breaks down because you never address the problem at the root cause. When honestly, if you give your body an opportunity to fix itself, it will. It's going to take a little longer. But you will stop the problem at the root cause. You will stop the problem of degeneration, as opposed to just putting something foreign in your body to deal with this one particular symptom and ignoring the degeneration which led you to that symptom. To me, that just makes common sense. But this is not what is being pushed. And in this next break, well, in this next clip that we're going to play after the break, I should say, you will see just how much power Big Pharma has amassed over the years, which enables it to push dangerous drugs that it knows are harmful. But yet they continue to push them with reckless abandon because they could care less about your health. It's all about the money. And that's the topic of this show. Ignorance, arrogance, and greed. We're going to look at the greed on the other side of this break. Stay with us.
Your body's immune system is under constant pressure from things like stress, lack of exercise, and toxins in the environment. It's crucial to be proactive and support your immune system with the nutrients it needs to function effectively. But it's often hard to get these nutrients from food alone. Introducing fast-acting Zinc Plus Immune Support by Youngevity. Unlike zinc-only supplements, Zinc Plus Immune Support builds on the proven power of zinc and adds complementary nutrients to give your immune system extra support. Vitamin D helps balance the effects of zinc, while our proprietary blend of natural fruit and root extracts provides the extra help your immune system needs to work against daily stressors. And we've included Youngevity's exclusive plant-derived minerals to give your body the minerals it needs, but can't get from food alone. And because Zinc Plus Immune Support is delivered in a great-tasting, sugar-free, berry-flavored lozenge, it encourages quicker absorption of all these nutrients into your body. Zinc Plus Immune Support. Zinc plus the extra support your body needs to promote a healthy immune system. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, tints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Trackline, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blessed love.
It's gotten harder and harder to get your daily requirement of vital nutrients from food alone. Without additional vitamin and nutrient support, your health and well-being can suffer drastically. That's why Z-Radical was specifically formulated. It combines a blend of antioxidant-rich vitamins, minerals, and botanicals with the protective powers of fucoidan to help fill the gaps from lack of nutrients in your foods. The core of Z-Radical is fucoidan, a naturally occurring polysaccharide that helps stimulate immune reaction, protecting you against inflammation and oxidative stress. We harvest this powerful mineral-rich nutrient from brown seaweed, harvested only from the world's most pristine ocean waters to ensure the purest quality. It's then extracted using cold process technology to ensure maximum levels of bioavailability. Then we add essential vitamins that help to protect your cardiovascular and nervous systems and are crucial for optimal immune and neurological function. Z-Radical also includes a proprietary blend of delicious antioxidant-rich fruits and berries. This great-tasting combination helps your body combat free radical imbalances that can contribute to a variety of degenerative conditions like arthritis and heart disease. Z-Radical. Experience the power of fucoidan with antioxidant-rich berries, 8 essential vitamins, and more to provide you with potent health benefits. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm here. On this Wellness Wednesday, we're talking about ignorance, arrogance, and greed. The telephone number is to call 3260271, 3260272, and the WhatsApp number is 8010271. Were you telling me that we have a call on the line? Oh, so what were you saying? All right. So, okay. So, yeah, we're talking about this whole medical monopoly that is just, I get so grieved when I come across people who are suffering unnecessarily because they're taking the advice of persons who just refuse to acknowledge that they don't know everything. We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Ms. Malcolm.
Yes, sir.
I hope you're doing well.
I am.
I think I'll take the word ignorance out. Because, see, when you know better, you're no longer ignorant. If you come from a system that you know has been deceiving and misleading people.
But the thing is, some of them don't know that. They honestly believe that what they were taught is the right thing.
No, I understand that point too. But the thing is that people like myself, as you were trying to do, I have said to those persons who practice natural medicines that they have to be organized. If you see Article 24.1 of your Constitution, which gives us the power to organize ourselves to protect our interests. Our interest is our health. And since we have evidence, hardcore evidence in front of us, like you say, right in your face, where we're losing money, and we say it's supposed to be to help you with your health, and yet you see these deaths, you see deterioration, and people spending a whole lot of money trying to get better, and eventually they don't get better. They just keep deteriorating. So I'm saying that there ought to be an organized movement, because I spoke to a number of persons who are involved in natural medicines, and I said they need to be organized. I believe a lot of working in silos. You have Dr. Sabi's place down East Street, and you have a number of other people that are involved in these natural medicines. I think what has to happen for the sake of the country, there has to be an organized movement. I know I deal with Dr. Hyler, and I've said to the patient, you need to tell others what he is doing to help you and assist you, because he deals with natural medicines himself. And he's very good. But the point is, even though people are benefiting after having gone to those other fellas for this, that, and the next thing and wasted all that money, then you expect the man to come up with a miracle cure for you after you have caused your body to deteriorate so much. And he would tell you, just like you yourself said, it takes time to heal.
Yes.
He tells me that all the time.
Yeah.
But the point is, I believe there is a lack of organizational structure for the benefit of the Bahamian people, and the patients themselves have a role to play. They can express themselves publicly what has happened to them, how they have improved in their health, and that would help inspire others out there who are also looking to become healthy. They don't want to be sick. I don't think a person who is sick wants to stay sick or keep taking things that are not going to be helpful to them. I agree that there's a degree of lack of understanding. I still won't use the word ignorance, lack of understanding on the part of the masses, because they have been told certain things to believe that the doctor said that's what it is.
That's gospel.
You know, that's gospel. Now, I don't accept that, even from those doctors who are in the system. I listen to what they have to say. There are some things they can do to help me, but there are some other things I know that they're not capable of doing. And one thing they never do, they never admit error and change. Never, ever do that. And I've noticed that with them. So I just smile and I say, okay, I hear what you say, and I move on. So do not expect them to admit when they're wrong, even if it hurts you.
That ain't gonna happen.
That ain't gonna happen, no. So we have to be taking the necessary action that is essential. And I'm hoping that those who are practicing these natural medicines, which is good, because I've found Dr. Haley to be very good, and some others out there who are doing good work. I am saying there has to be an organized movement, just like they got the Medical Association. There's nothing stopping them from organizing themselves according to Article 24(1) of your Constitution. And I always tell them, please take advantage of your constitutional rights and stop listening to people talking foolishness and nonsense, because our health is what is important. Thank you, Ms. Malcolm.
Thank you so much for that insight, Mr. Thompson.
Okay, all right.
Thank you very much. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Now, in the United States, for instance, well, you heard the statistics that were discussed in that last clip about how many millions of people die each year at the hands of medical doctors, and nothing is said. Imagine, and you know, it seems they're the only industry that get away with that. Imagine if the airline industry said each year 90 million people die flying in an airplane. You know you ain't gonna know how to plane, right? That's the end of that industry. You what you ain't gonna see, what need you to get there by plane, you ain't gonna see. If they were to come out and put out statistics like that, it would ruin the industry. But the medical profession gets this pass. They could experiment on you, do all kind of foolishness, and you die, and nothing is to be said or done. I have never seen anything like it. So, Dr. Thompson, your point is well taken, very well taken. But in the United States, for instance, they have made it so difficult for you to tell truth that it is against, okay, one of my clients, you heard me talk about it before, a Bahamian living abroad in the United States, was scheduled for a kidney transplant, was on dialysis, obviously end-stage kidney failure, needed a kidney replacement, had a surgery already scheduled to happen. Long story short, we were connected. We got on the program. Within about a month and a half, her surgery was canceled. Right? Do you know that in the United States, it is against the law for her to produce a video to say, my name is so-and-so. I was battling kidney disease, end-stage renal failure, surgery already canceled. I'm scheduled, and I tried this holistic method, and in spite of what my doctors told me was possible or impossible, my kidney disease was reversed, and now I am scot-free and healthy. It is against the law for her to make a video like that. Matter of fact, when I was first talking to her about doing it holistically, one of the first things she said to me was, do you have any testimonial videos of other persons who this worked for? I couldn't give her one because it's against the law. So they go out of their way to try to stop you from gaining the knowledge that will free you from this monopoly. You heard in the clip, Dr. Joel Wallach had to sue the FDA on multiple occasions, I think 12 different times, and won each time, just to give the right to say that selenium beats cancer, fights cancer. Just the right to say this nutrient impacts that condition. He had to sue the FDA. That's how serious this is. Because, quite frankly, they're a cartel. I can't put it any other way. You know, you hear about the mafia cartel? This is a cartel where they hold the general public hostage and have presented themselves to be such an authority that even when they fail, there is nothing to be said. This is what we're dealing with. Now, you may ask the question, how is it that Big Pharma gets away with pushing harmful drugs? Again, this is systematic. This ain't accidental. It ain't just happened to be. This is systematic. I want you to listen to this.
We'll start with the story of Martin Shkreli. This man, he used to be America's most hated man. What did he do? Sold this drug, Daraprim, an important weapon in the fight against malaria, also another serious infection caused by HIV. There was a time when this drug, Daraprim, cost $13.50. Then Martin Shkreli entered the scene. He bought the manufacturing license for Daraprim and jacked up prices by 5,000%. You heard that right, 5,000. So the medicine that sold for $13.50 started selling for $750. People were furious. Patients, doctors, lawmakers, everyone protested. But Shkreli could not care less.
I know you're smiling, but I'm very serious, sir. And I truly believe, are you listening?
Yes.
Eventually, the law prevailed. Shkreli was convicted for securities fraud, sent to 7 years in jail. Recently, he paid $40 million to settle allegations of price gouging. And this is a man who did not even make drugs for a living. He managed a hedge fund. When asked about the price gouging, he said, I would have raised the prices higher and made more profits. Now, you have to understand where he comes from. As a hedge fund manager, his primary duty was to make money for his investors. Shkreli was driven by profit. He represented a system that puts profits above lives, a system that wants to make money off illnesses, and a system that influences everyone. I'm talking about Big Pharma. They have unrivaled power, the power to push dangerous drugs into the market, the power to influence politicians and regulators, and the power to maximize profits at the cost of patients. How does Big Pharma do this? With tools like misinformation. Case in point, America's opioid epidemic. What is an opioid? It is a painkiller. It affects you just like heroin. It blocks the feeling of pain, which is why it is habit forming. It's easy to get hooked to opioids. Earlier, doctors in the US kept a tight watch on opioid prescriptions. But in the 1990s, Big Pharma sensed an opportunity. They began pushing an idea, a simple idea. They said opioids are not addictive. Big Pharma sent sales representatives to doctors across the US. Their mission was quite simple: convince doctors, make them prescribe heavier doses of opioids. The masters of this art were Purdue Pharma. Their opioid drug was called OxyContin. Purdue claimed OxyContin did not cause addiction. It was a lie. Purdue never held a trial to prove OxyContin was less addictive, and doctors did not bother to check. Here's what happened next. In 1997, doctors were writing 670,000 prescriptions for OxyContin. By 2002, that number shot up to 6.2 million prescriptions every year. 6.2 million, nearly 10 times more. Purdue was making money hand over fist. Just one drug, OxyContin, generated more than $30 billion in revenue for this company. Purdue weren't the only ones pushing opioids. Companies like Johnson & Johnson and Teva Pharmaceutical Industries were making opioid drugs too. The crisis reached its peak in 2012. Doctors in the US wrote 255 million prescriptions for opioid pain relievers in 1 year. Thousands of people got addicted. From 1999 to 2016, more than 450,000 Americans died from opioid overuse. And the crisis is far from over. Nearly 71,000 drug overdose deaths in 2019 involved an opioid. Purdue Pharma, the company that fueled this epidemic, got away with a slap on the wrist. When it faced thousands of lawsuits, the company declared bankruptcy. Its owners, the Slacker family, had to pay just a fine. No jail time for fueling an epidemic. Instead, they were given immunity. The Slackers piggybacked off the bankruptcy. Before declaring bankruptcy, in fact, they shifted close to $11 billion in cash out of Purdue. When the settlement was finalized, they paid just $4.5 billion. What a convenient exit. Can it be worse than this? Yes, it can. Big Pharma has the influence to push unproven cures with some help from their regulator friends. And that's exactly what happened in the case of Aduhelm. Last year, the US Food and Drug Administration approved this drug. Aduhelm is made by a company called Biogen. It was sold as a landmark treatment for Alzheimer's. The treatment was introduced at a price of $56,000 a year. Does it even work? There is little evidence that it does. The drug was first assessed by an FDA advisory committee. This committee has 11 members. None of them wanted this drug approved. Now, usually the FDA just goes along with these advisors, but in this case it did not. To their surprise, Aduhelm was approved. Turns out, Biogen had a close relationship with the FDA. Its officials met with the FDA several times before the decision day, and the drug was approved, even though there wasn't enough evidence that it works. What was the rationale behind this approval? It is not clear. 3 FDA advisors resigned in protest over the controversial approval. Here is what one of the advisors said about the resignation. I did not think that the firm recommendations from the committee in this case were appropriately integrated into the decision-making process. So instead of listening to its own advisors, did the FDA choose to trust a drug manufacturer? Federal officials have launched an investigation into what really happened. The FDA is supposed to be a watchdog for the pharma industry. Should it maintain such a close relationship with companies, it is supposed to police. The fact is, a large chunk of the FDA's funding comes from the industry. How much? 45% of their entire budget. How can the FDA remain impartial when it is getting paid by Big Pharma?
That's a really good question. If you ain't figured out by now, let me spell it out for you. This is not about you and your health. It's all about the money. If you don't believe me, I just Googled it just to make sure I'm not spreading any misinformation. The Omicron variant alone, not all the other variants before it or any other variant that will come. The Omicron variant alone made $10 billion in a week for top Moderna and Pfizer shareholders. I can leave that right there. I ain't saying nothing else because I just get out of YouTube jail, and you know they like to put strike on you quick. So I don't know. Maybe I'll get a strike for the show. I don't know. Because Miko says they sense the truth. So you got to get backlash for today's show. Well, it is what it is. It is what it is. Miko also says we spend 80% of our life dieting and on medical treatment. Once you go to the doctors and start following a course of pharmaceutical treatment, they won't take you off. It becomes a downward spiral of your health. No medication is an easy fix. It takes work to keep the body balanced, proper nutrient intake, and waste replenish and clean. Exercise boosts energy, meditation, moments of peace and calm, rest, repair, positive energy, and laughter. Claudette says they can backlash all they want. A lot of people now know the truth. And Don Vito says we are only test subjects to them. Don Vito, with all due respect, I don't even know if you test subjects. You dollar signs. You dollar signs. Remember when we were growing up watching cartoons and you would see the cartoon character with these dollar signs in their eye where their eyes should be. We are nothing more than dollar signs to Big Pharma. And the frightening thing is that another reason why I should say that they get away with this, I had to cut that Gravitas report in half because it was way too long to play on the show. But the second half of that report went on to talk about the influence of Big Pharma over legislators in the United States, senators, etc., who receive very large campaign donations from these lobbyist groups, which obviously puts them in a position of compromise. So they covering their bases all around to make sure that they can continue to push dangerous drugs on an unsuspecting public who put their full trust in these people simply because they have doctor in front of their name. The doctor say, I should choose between nutrition and a synthetic drug. What kind of madness is this? Make it make sense. The telephone numbers to call 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272, or the WhatsApp line. I know somebody was trying to call the WhatsApp line. You can't call the WhatsApp line. You have to send a message on WhatsApp. I cannot take a call on WhatsApp for the show. The number to send us a WhatsApp message is 8010271. 8010271 is the number for WhatsApp. We have a caller on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Hello, good afternoon, Miss Malcolm.
Good
Have my
afternoon.
deepest sympathy.
Thank you.
Yes, and the only time, like I say, I normally go to the doctors when I do my annual, and when I get my annual, everything is fine. I don't take nothing else but vitamins, and that's it. I don't have no sickness, I must say. I give God thanks, and I always thank him every day the way he make my body, that whatever I put in can come out. And people need to put their faith more in God and trust in him. And also, like you say, the nutritionist,
Yeah,
but like I say, when I go to a doctor and they tell me, like I know I was having some varicose veins and the pain wasn't as bad, so she says she'll put me on some painkillers. So when she told me that, before she prescribed, I said, what is the after effect? So she said, well, afterwards it'll give you a headache and make you dizzy. I said, well, no, keep that. I will pray, and God will heal me one day. And sure enough, and then, like she said, to lose the weight, and that's what I've been doing. And I'm fine, no problem. Everything is just vitamins that I take.
Thanks so much
So
for
we
calling.
just need to keep up the faith, and you continue keeping up your good work. You're doing very good.
Thank you so much for calling.
Appreciate you so much.
I just want to say this. Thank you so much for calling. I just want to say this as it relates to the approach of just ask God to heal you. I think, and I'm not God, and I can't, but I really think that common sense tells me that He is definitely able to heal, but He would prefer that you not do the damage to begin with. I've said it before on this show. One of my biggest pet peeves with the church, especially, is that we encourage our people to eat bad. Whenever you go to any church function, you got a bunch of fried food, a bunch of things that nobody should be eating that are contributing to the illness. So you helping people to get sick, and then when they get sick, let's pray. And I'm not saying God can't heal. Of course He can. But you have to take responsibility for being an active participant in not making yourself sick. That's not of God for you to think that you could eat any kind of garbage and then just say, well, Lord, heal me after you get sick. That is not godly. He requires us to be good stewards of whatever He gave us, and that includes your body. So it can't be on the one hand where you could decide you can eat any kind of foolishness you want to eat, pour all kind of garbage down your throat, and then you're talking about, Lord, heal me after you get sick. How about being a good steward of the one body that He gave you to traverse this side of eternity with? Serious pet peeve of mine. Serious pet peeve of mine. We got to stop doing the foolishness. We have to stop. Because most times, if not every time, we are guilty of working towards the sickness that we have. This is why I think it's out of madness when you go to the doctor and the doctor says to you, you have this condition, and then you walk to the doctor, child, the doctor trying to put diabetes on me, but I don't receive that. Doctor ain't had nothing to do with you doing the damage to your body that led to that diabetes. He wasn't there when you were eating poorly. He wasn't there. So why are you trying to blame him for what you did to your body? And I say all the time, you cannot fix what you don't acknowledge. So stop blaming the doctor for years of abuse and neglect. So somebody sent me this video that's going viral of this Grammy trying to whine. I know they were having some kind of whining competition. You could hear the DJ in the background, whine, granny, whine, whine, granny, whine. And Grammy made the decision to try to drop it like it's hot. They had to lift her up. I shouldn't laugh, right? But they had to lift her up and take her back to her seat. Because of neglect and abuse of the one body what the Lord gave you to traverse this side of eternity with. So stop blaming the doctor for your years of bad habits. Doctor ain't had nothing to do with that. Take responsibility for your health. Stop it. People on Facebook laughing. I don't know if you all saw the video. I'm sorry, Mom, whoever you are. I shouldn't be laughing, but it was kind of funny. But we have to take some responsibility for our health. We can't keep blaming the doctor for putting things on us what we work towards. And another thing, if you're going to heal your body holistically, this is not a quick fix. This is not a pop the pill and you're good. I say to clients all the time, when they say, oh, Miss Malcolm, I tried this for 3 weeks and I see no difference yet. I say, 3 weeks? How long did it take you to develop that condition? It took you years of abuse to get to the place where you are now. And you're talking about you expect it to be fixed in 3 weeks? Make it make sense. Years of abuse and neglect. But I want this fixed in a week. People, let's face reality here. Because if it took you years to get to where you are and your health, my God, give us at least 3 months. Give us at least 90 days. Give us at least 12 weeks to fix your problem. Don't come to me after 3 weeks talking about, man, this ain't work. Oh, for God's sake, you know how damaged your body is? And the amount of effort it's going to take to turn that around? Make it make sense. So anyhow, thank you to that caller who called. So we're going to take a quick break. On the other side of the break, we have to look at the opposite side of this whole discussion, because we spent the whole first 3 sections of the show talking about why you need to not just trust what is being said to you by this medical cartel. On the other side, we're going to explain from a nutritional standpoint why you should consider other things as well. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Youngevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 hyperimmune egg powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, tints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Glasses love.
To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Even in the United States, 94% of people are deficient in at least one nutrient. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Youngevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. It's an advanced plant-driven multivitamin mineral complex that contains certified organic whole foods, trace minerals, and antioxidants. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. With an unusually high ORAC score of 8,000, you get even more antioxidants to help combat free radicals that can cause damage to your cells. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients so you can fully absorb them. Otherwise, they'll just pass through your system without doing any good. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin mineral supplement it needs for optimal support of your overall health. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by Tiki Bikini Hut at Junkanoo Beach. Great food, cool tropical drinks, and family fun in the sun. We are back. Welcome back to GPS. Is that a caller for the show? No? Okay. The telephone numbers to call 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272. And the WhatsApp line is 8010271, 8010271. And again, we can't take WhatsApp calls, but if you send us a message, we can respond to you by reading your message on the air. Let's see, we do have a couple of WhatsApp messages here. Okay, somebody's asking about... so Claudette, I will reach out to you after the show, okay? Somebody sent a message about a specific question. All right, and let's see what this other person is saying. Somebody's recommending a book called The Next Trillion, Why the Wellness Industry Will Exceed the $1 trillion healthcare sickness industry in the next 10 years. All right, so I take it that's not a caller. Okay. All right, so we're going to talk now about the other side of this argument, or this discussion, I should say, and that is whereby pharmaceuticals block systems of the body so that they can replace those systems with synthetics. Nutrition actually builds. Nutrition is the construction crew. So when you have degeneration of the body, you need to regenerate that which has degenerated. And that's all disease is. It's just a degeneration of the body. I don't care what they call it. I don't care which part of the body is. It's just a degeneration of the body. And why does the body degenerate? Because of a lack of nutrients, because of neglect, because of toxins, because of stress, not sufficient rest, etc. So every disease is a degeneration of some sort of the body. And when you're talking about healing, you have to rebuild that which has degenerated. Now, you may be listening to this show and you may say, this really doesn't apply to me because I don't have a chronic disease. I'm in pretty good health. Well, even if you're in pretty good health, you still need to make sure that you are giving your body adequate nutrients to maintain that good health. People like athletes, for instance, are, they're some of the most fit people in the world, but yet they are prone to more injuries and other problems because in many cases, they're putting out, but they're not replenishing. And so as a result, their bodies are breaking down even faster than it normally would because they're not replenishing that which they have put out through the exertion of that energy that they exert as athletes. So in this particular clip, Dr. Wallach breaks down the important role of nutrition in rebuilding the body. And that applies to whether or not regenerating the body. That applies to whether or not you're a professional athlete or whether you're just a person who is suffering from some chronic disease that you're trying to heal. You need nutrition, the construction crew, to regenerate, to get your body to regenerate, to rebuild that which it has lost.
When people exercise, they sweat. And sweat is not water. Sweat is a...
Are you ready? Okay, we have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS. Okay, we had a caller on the line. All right, let's go to this clip.
When people exercise, they sweat. And sweat is not water. Sweat is a soup that contains all the nutrients floating around in their blood. If you do not replace all these things you're sweating out, and there's very little in our food, you can see we very quickly get into the negative. Theo Ratliff from the Atlanta Hawks is a very good example. His career was over, and he was a great player, but his career was over because he had so many fractures.
All right, let's try that again because I need people to hear this. Let me know when you're ready, okay? You ready? Okay, let's try this again.
When people exercise, they sweat. And sweat is not water. Sweat is a soup that contains all the nutrients floating around in their blood. If you do not replace all these things you're sweating out, and there's very little in our food, you can see we very quickly get into the negative. Theo Ratliff from the Atlanta Hawks is a very good example. His career was over, and he was a great player, but his career was over because he had so many fractures and breaks and cartilage problems. We got him on the 90 essential nutrients, gave him some extra raw materials to support and promote maintenance repair of cartilage. 90 days, he was back in. He made $140 million in contracts, and here's a guy whose career was over, and the nutrition was what saved his career.
Hi, I'm Theo Ratliff. I had just made the All-Star team in Philadelphia. My career was on top, and I went up to block a shot, came down on my wrist, ended up breaking my wrist. They ended up trading me to the Atlanta Hawks. So with the Atlanta Hawks, I was covering from the wrist. I jumped up routine, going up for a rebound, ended up tearing the labrum in my hip. And you know, everything was just going all haywire. Well, I was almost in the midst of retiring. And I overheard Mike Glenn, who's talking to one of my fellow comrades about minerals and mineral deficiencies when we...
Time. For some reason, the audio is stopping. Are you pressing it as well? Okay, let me try this one more time, okay? Because I know the audio is fine. So let's see if we'll play this one more time.
When people exercise, they sweat. And sweat is not water. Sweat is a soup that contains all the nutrients floating around in their blood. If you do not replace all these things you're sweating out, and there's very little in our food, you can see we very quickly get into the negative. Theo Ratliff from the Atlanta Hawks is a very good example. His career was over, and he was a great player, but his career was over because he had so many fractures and breaks and cartilage problems. We got him on the 90 essential nutrients, gave him some extra raw materials to support and promote maintenance repair of cartilage. 90 days, he was back in. He made $140 million in contracts, and here's a guy whose career was over, and the nutrition was what saved his career.
Hi, I'm Theo Ratliff. I had just made the All-Star team in Philadelphia. My career was on top, and I went up to block a shot, came down on my wrist, ended up breaking my wrist. They ended up trading me to the Atlanta Hawks. So with the Atlanta Hawks, I was covering from the wrist. I jumped up routine, going up for a rebound, ended up tearing the labrum in my hip. And you know, everything was just going all haywire. Well, I was almost in the midst of retiring. And I overheard Mike Glenn, who's talking to one of my fellow comrades about minerals and mineral deficiencies. When we sweat out a soup of minerals. So I pulled him to the side and told him, give me a little knowledge on what was going on and this mineral deficiency thing, because I think that's what I'm suffering from, because I'm getting all these different injuries, and I know I try to take care of myself probably better than anybody. I wanted to make sure I take the opportunity to not only help prepare my
next clip and see if there's a problem with that as well. And then we'll try to come back to that one where we talk about nutrition being the construction crew of the body. So in this particular clip, Dr. Joel Furman, medical doctor, one of those doctors who incorporates nutrition into his practice, and explains that the results that he sees are nothing short of amazing because of nutrition, and yet so many doctors are in shock, flabbergasted, whenever they see it work. And I have experienced that in the work that I do as a health coach. I hear my patients say it all the time. My doctor said, I don't know what you're doing, but whatever you're doing, keep doing. Because they, again, don't understand or have not been taught to believe that your body can actually heal itself. So when it does start to heal itself, many of them are left in shock. And some of them have embraced that, okay, maybe I need to expand my knowledge and incorporate nutrition into what I do. as opposed to just cutting it off altogether. So let's go to this next clip. I'm gonna play it. All right. So let's go to this next clip. Open up the audio. Let's see what happens here.
I love nutritional science. I've had a passion about nutrition since I was young. I remember that my father suffered with medical problems and pains, conditions the medical profession couldn't help him with, and he searched for answers. Finally, he changed his diet, lost 50 pounds, and got well. And in the process of seeing him suffering and searching, I found excitement and developed interest in the subject. Doctors mostly prescribe medications for conditions that are a result of the toxic diet Americans are eating. It's like hitting yourself with a hammer every day and giving your hand a big smash, and then you get swollen and full of pain. And you go to a doctor and get pain medications for it, and the next day you take a big hammer and smack it again. The toxic foods we're eating are the hammer. I went to medical school, and I'm here to tell you about the excitement, the rewarding experience, and to give you a taste of the things I've seen. Your healthy life expectancy is determined on the foods you choose to eat. You have to get sufficient nutrient bang for each caloric buck. But you know, when you do so, when you flood your body with the nutrients it needs, it doesn't just make you healthy and live longer and prevent disease. It stops food addictions and food cravings and normalizes your appetite and makes your body gravitate towards your ideal weight effortlessly. It's the secret for most of what ails us. A nutritarian diet, sure, it's rich in nutrients with an adequate amount of what we need, nutrient-wise. A nutritarian diet is also designed to be low in those hormones that promote cancer and aging, hormones like excessive amounts of insulin and excessive amounts of IGF-1. That's insulin-like growth factor 1, the primary hormone that promotes cancers like breast cancer and prostate cancer. I say, the whiter the bread, the sooner you're dead. Because the more if you eat foods like sugar and white flour, the more it promotes weight gain and cancer. And I say, the more you eat green, the more you get lean. Because when you eat more greens and beans and less meat, it lowers IGF-1, which stops cancer in its tracks and doesn't promote the progression of fat on your body and cancer cell proliferation. We have a unique opportunity in human history today with the exponential advances in nutritional science that have given us the power of G-bombs, G-B-O-M-B-S. These foods I call our immune system special forces: greens, beans, onions, mushrooms, berries, and seeds. These foods that inhibit fat storage on the body, foods that prevent cancer, foods that prolong our lifespan. The point here is you don't have to be sick and be suffering and be tied to medications for the rest of your life. Why aren't people told this? Why don't people know? Why doesn't everyone know that they don't have to have heart attacks? They don't have to have strokes, that these diseases are reversible relatively easily. The last person I'm going to talk about is John Pelikowski. And I bring him up, John from New Jersey, is because my office is in New Jersey, and I saw him as a patient more than 20 years ago when he was 72 years old. And he too had triple vessel disease in his heart and had chest pain where he couldn't walk without significant pain. He actually had worked with a cardiologist, and the cardiologist set him up for a stress test, a cardiac catheterization, and he was scheduled for angioplasty and stent placement. And I pleaded with him, and I convinced him. I said, John, give me 12 weeks of your life to show you that you can get back in good health again. Because once you put those stents in, you're never going to be the same. It's going to be a source of inflammation. It's going to promote more stenosis and more plaque in your heart. Let's get rid of it. Here's our chance. Give me 12 weeks. In 12 weeks' time, his chest pains were gone. He lost 40 pounds. He didn't have high blood pressure. He needed 3 medications for high blood pressure. That had dropped too. He went back to see his cardiologist. The cardiologist says to him, oh my goodness, John, I've never seen anybody reverse heart disease nutritionally. I've never seen anybody have it melt away like this. This is amazing. Can you imagine a cardiologist who does nothing except see patients with heart conditions? Never once ever saw a patient reverse their heart disease with nutrition? When that's all I see is every patient get better? Over the years, he's gotten healthier and healthier. He doesn't have any heart disease now. He chops wood, he climbs up and fixes his roof. He enjoys his life. He doesn't take medications in his 90s that he needed when he was in his 60s and 70s. You follow that? He has normal blood pressure now. He has normal cholesterol now. He's earned these things. He's been well for 90 years. My point is that water runs off the waterfall and hits a rock. And after 20,000 years, the rock breaks in two. But the rock didn't age. It got hit by water day after day for 20,000 years. Forget those problems because day after day you put stresses on your tissues from eating the wrong foods that we shouldn't be eating. This is not the natural consequence of aging. Heart attacks and strokes and dementia doesn't have to happen. We don't have to have heart disease. All of us could be free of that if we so choose. My message to you today is that sure, nutritional science has made exponential advances in recent years. But the point is, it's not just preventative. Sure, we don't have to have heart attacks, we don't have to have strokes, we don't have to get demented, and yes, we can win the war on cancer. We have the information right now in the studies that show that a body is protective against cancer. We can make these choices and have better health than ever before possible in human history.
Again, for the record, that's a medical doctor speaking. And he's right. We're not hearing this. We're not being told that you don't have to have this disease. All we're being told is, take this medication, shut up. I don't want to hear anything you have to say or anyone else because I'm the authority. And they experiment on people, they practice on people until they get them to the place where all they could do is send them home and die. There's nothing else we can do for you. How many times have they told people that? There's nothing else we can do for you. So they send you home to die because they're too arrogant to admit that they don't know. We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Good afternoon, Michelle. How you doing?
Great. How are you?
I'm okay. Hey, Michelle, I got to commend you,
Thank you.
You keep it real. And you know what's more important, you keeping it real? You ask the callers, when they call the show, you don't take half hour, answer 20 texts, 30 texts, and forget about your callers. You are right on point on time when it comes to that. You allow people to basically express what's on their mind.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, Michelle, I was listening to the clip, your last clip. The gentleman was saying, because I always tell you what I think I need to put on with 50 pounds, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you have some pills for ugly, right? But the gentleman say the more green you eat, the more lean you are. So that means you need to eat more meat.
The first thing you need to do is figure out why you are having a difficulty putting on weight. I don't believe in just telling people, oh, just do this or oh, just do that. Because the whole idea is for you to be evaluated so we can figure out what the root cause of your situation is.
So I mean, sometimes if the child has been bony and they still bony is when it doesn't, it's the same.
You may just have a very high metabolism, but I don't know that.
Very much so.
I don't know that without doing some kind of
evaluation. No, I have a fast metabolism.
You see, so we don't believe in doing that. We believe in doing an evaluation so we can figure out the root cause of your situation. And then
so you can do evaluation?
Yeah, we have a form that you fill out that you answered like 4 sets of 20 questions, and that sort of serves as a roadmap so we can see what's going on. And then based on your results, that's how we can make recommendations as to what nutritional program you should be on based on your individual symptoms or results. So it's
so you have this expensive or inexpensive or cheap or what?
Say that again?
Like to visit your institution or your establishment, like your prices are high or low, or in between. Or all depends on who walk in the door. You look at the coach who's they go out and watch it out.
No. What I personally do is I all of my consultations are done virtually. By the way, I don't see people in person. I do everything via Zoom, And then once we determine what their health needs are, I just get them on a program and just check on them. We do another evaluation every 30 days just to make sure they're going in the right direction. And then I pretty much leave them to after 90 days. I say, okay, now you know what to do. Be well and prosper. That's how I operate.
And Michelle,
yeah.
Are you pharmaceutical free?
At this point in my life, yes, I am.
Oh, that's great. How long have you been like that?
The very last thing I was taking was for my thyroid disease, and I just made a decision a couple of weeks back. I said, you need to practice what you preach.
You just get clear that.
And I took myself off of it, and I've been healing myself holistically. So that's why you hear the little hoarseness in my voice, because that's one of the side effects of me taking myself completely off because what that medication was doing is
masking all the other problems that you have.
No, I don't have any other problems.
No. I mean masking
what it was doing was it was stopping my thyroid from functioning so it could replace what the thyroid was supposed to be doing. So I just said enough. Enough. And I've been healing myself holistically and already seeing a huge difference. So I know the hoarse voice thing will go away. I'm not worried about that. But I am otherwise, that was the only medication that I was on. And I am now completely pharmaceutical free.
Hey, and you know what I mean? There aren't many people in the Bahamas who could say that, you know.
No, because we trust in what we're being told.
And to go to a doctor and the doctor look you in the eye, and I mean, doctor, if you take him with the doctor saying, the doctor say you're gonna die, and if you take what the doctor saying, automatically you're gonna die because the doctor he tells you to die, you believe everything the doctor says, and you're gonna just sit there and wait and just do what the doctor says. Take every regimen he give you, and you go back and they check these readings, and they looking at a machine and telling you, well, this and that. But you know, it's my irony, Michelle, like this high blood pressure thing, right? So you go to a doctor, they hook you up. Oh, your blood pressure is high, right? We got to do something to break that pressure down, right? But let me tell you something. If there are blockages, right? And you are, like common sense, I base it on just common sense, right? You have blockages in your system that's causing your blood pressure to go up, right? And you're not unblocking what is blocked, but you're lowering the pressure. So in essence, what you're doing is you're lowering the person's ability to function. They can't go in the hot sun. They can't exercise, like to say, extremely, to how they want to exercise or do anything, like to say, to the extreme, right? And you're living in this world of just caution, because anything, you're fragile. If somebody shout too loud, your heart starts to flutter and all this other stuff to go along with the package, right? And it's like, it comes to a time in the person like you to make a decision to understand that there's a benchmark of how you felt from when you were young. Keep in your mind whatever that feeling is, and remember that till you die. Right. Because if you don't do that, you have them see of people coming and they telling you how you're supposed to be feeling when they don't even know your name. They ask you what your name. Okay. They ask you. Some people they go in the doctor office. They'll have to ask them, are you male or female? That's how bad it is, right?
But Paula, I got to cut you off because I want to get my last clip in. And
okay.
For time. All right. Thank you so much for calling. I really do appreciate it. All right. Let's try this one more time because this is important information I need you to have. So I can try. Don't touch that, Jason. I can try one more time to play this clip, and hopefully it plays all the way through.
When people exercise, they sweat. And sweat is not water. Sweat is a soup that contains all the nutrients floating around in their blood. If you do not replace all these things you're sweating out, and there's very little in our food, you can see we very quickly get into the negative. Theo Ratliff from the Atlanta Hawks is a very good example. His career was over, and he was a great player, but his career was over because he had so many fractures and breaks and cartilage problems. We got him on the 90 essential nutrients, gave him some extra raw materials to support and promote maintenance repair of cartilage. 90 days, he was back in. He made $140 million in contracts. And here's a guy whose career was over, and the nutrition was what saved his career.
Hi, I'm Theo Ratliff. I had just made the All-Star team in Philadelphia. My career was on top, and I went up to block a shot, came down on my wrist, ended up breaking my wrist. They ended up trading me to the Atlanta Hawks. So with the Atlanta Hawks, I was covering from the wrist. I jumped up routine, going up for a rebound, ended up tearing the labrum in my hip. And everything was just going all haywire. Well, I was almost in the midst of retiring. and I overheard Mike Glenn, who's talking to one of my fellow comrades about minerals and mineral deficiencies. When we sweat out a soup of minerals. So I pulled him to the side and told him, give me a little knowledge on what was going on and this mineral deficiency thing, because I think that's what I'm suffering from, because I'm getting all these different injuries, and I know I try to take care of myself probably better than anybody. I wanted to make sure I take the opportunity to not only help prepare my body for basketball, but to also prepare myself for life, to be able to be with my kids and play without injuries, to grow and have a long-lasting life.
I got a call from the Shed Aquarium, and they said, look, we just had a freshwater dolphin from the Ganges River die. Why don't you come on over and see if you can find something? So I came over, and sure enough, I cut that poor little river dolphin open, and the first thing I saw was a heart that should have been the size of an orange, the size of a basketball. Had congestive heart failure. So I asked the keeper there, what do you feed these freshwater dolphins? Well, we feed them whole fish. What type of whole fish do you feed them? We feed them smelt. Well, I knew right away there was a problem, because smelt have an enzyme in there that actually destroys certain vitamins. I said, well, there's your problem. And I laid it out for him. And I said, look, you got to change your fish sources. Use some perch, some local white fish, perch, not smelt, and put a multivitamin and some B vitamins into this fish that you're feeding these dolphins, and you won't have a problem. Sure enough, it ended the problem. Congestive heart failure is a deficiency of a single vitamin, whether it's in a human being or a dolphin or an elephant or a hummingbird or a monkey or any animal whatsoever that has a heart. Congestive heart failure is a deficiency of a single vitamin. You give the 90 essential nutrients with some extra of these vitamins, and within 5 days, sometimes, certainly within 90 days, they're an ex-congestive heart failure patient. They don't need a heart transplant anymore. And it's all nutrition. That is exciting. If you give your body the raw materials, it will heal itself. We're a healing machine.
When you look at how medicine works, when you talk about pharmaceutical drugs, you're talking about selective roadblocks, something that stops a metabolic process from working. And if you think of the names, they'll tell you what they do. They're anti-inflammatory, they're proton pump inhibitors, they're calcium channel blockers, beta blockers. That's what they do. Now, on the other hand, nutrition, it's the construction crew. The construction crew meaning it's what your body uses to heal itself, to rebuild itself. You'll never rebuild the body by just repressing a symptom. You have to get at the root cause. And that's what nutrition can do. When you can naturally give the body what it needs to naturally heal itself, to fix the problems they deal with.
Perfect way to end the show. Believe the diagnosis, do not believe the prognosis. Your body can heal. Please, people, stop letting these people. Anyway, let me leave that right there. It's 4 o'clock. I gotta go, y'all. My time is gone. Thank you so much for being a part of GPS on this Wellness Wednesday. Tomorrow's Thursday, and we have another great show planned for you, so don't you miss it. I'm Michelle Malcolm. Have a good afternoon, everybody.
Global 99.5 FM reminds our listeners that the views and opinions expressed on this show are those of the host and guests and not necessarily the opinions of the owners of Global Communications Network and the operators of this radio station.
This is 99.5 Global FM, your